All right, we're back. And so Odysseus has he came up with a plan. He's feeding the Cyclops his delicious wine. He's getting him drunk and sleepy. They've sharpened a stick, and Odysseus has also told the Cyclops a different name. He's called himself No Man. My name is No Man. So let's continue. So he said, then nodding with the fumes of wine, he said, is the Cyclops. Nodding with the fumes of wine, drooped his huge head, and snoring lay supine. Supine. Supine is lying on your back with your face upward. His neck obliquely over his shoulders hung, pressed with the weight of sleep that tames the strong. There belched the mingled streams of wine and blood, and human flesh is indigested food. So, the Cyclops is asleep. This is just a very descriptive and evocative way to say, listen, the Cyclops drank a lot, he ate a lot of human food, or not human food, but humans, and now he's just sleepy and tired. He basically had like a gigantic Thanksgiving dinner. Sudden I stir the embers, and inspire with animating breath the seeds of fire. So they're taking the stick, they're sticking it into the fire. Each drooping spirit with bold words repair, and urged my train. This is his crew, or his the people that are with the dreadful deed to dare. So he's telling. This is a nice alliteration. But he's telling the crew, listen, we're going to take our stick, we're going to stick it in the fire to get it really nice and hot, and then blind the Cyclops. The stake now glowed beneath the burning bed. The bed is the bed of fire. Green as it was, and sparkled fiery red. Then forth the vengeful instrument I bring. So they're going to take this this stick, it's a gigantic tree, and this is the instrument is that they have lit on fire and sharpened. So they have this tool, this instrument that they're going to use. With beating hearts, my fellows form a ring. Urged my some present god, this is a typo, this should be by, they swift let fall the pointed torment on his visual ball. This is a fancy pants way of saying the Cyclops' eyeball. Okay, so they have taken the gigantic tree, sharpened, got it really hot in the fire, and then stuck it in his eyeball. It's pretty gruesome, actually. Myself above them from a rising ground, guide the sharp stake and twirl it round and round, as when a shipwright stands his workmen o'er, who ply the wimble some huge beam to bore. So he's describing this. Often, he's saying this is what we're doing, much like describing and comparing the action to something a person on a ship would do. It's just, this is a simile. He's saying this action that we're doing is very similar to this other action that we do on a ship. Urged on all hands, it nimbly spins about, the grain deep piercing till it scoops it out. In his broad eye he whirls the fiery wood. From the pierced pupil spouts the boiling blood. It's very descriptive, very gruesome, actually. Singed are his brows. This is his eyebrows. The scorching lids grow black. The jelly bubbles and the fibers crack. And as when armorers temper in the ford, the keen-edged poleaxe or the shining sword, the red-hot metal hisses in the lake, is another simile. Another simile comparing the action to what blacksmiths do to make weapons. It's very common where something is happening, and though it's called an epic simile, where they're consistently referring to another action that someone might know about. Thus, in his eyeball hissed the plunging stake. He sends a dreadful groan. So finally, we hear the reaction from the Cyclops. The rocks around, through all their inmost winding caves, resound. Scared, we recoiled. So the Cyclops is making such an awful sound that the cave is almost shaking. And the Odysseus and his crew become frightened because of how horrible this groan is. Forth with frantic hand he tore and dashed on earth in gory brand. So he came up, took the stake out. He took the brand, which is the stake, the blood and eyeball covered sharpened tree. Then calls the Cyclops, all that round him dwell. So now he's taking this thing out and he's screaming really very loudly, and probably the rest of the Cyclops that live in the neighborhood, he's yelling to them as well. With a voice like thunder and a direful yell from all their dens, the one-eyed race repair from rifted rots and mountains bleak and air. So everyone's getting out of their home to figure out what's happened. They all haste assembled, so they all got all of the Cyclops got together quickly to figure out what the deal is. At his well-known roar, inquire the cause and crowd the cavern door. So they're outside. What hurts thee, Polypheme? What strange affright thus breaks our slumbers and disturbs the night? So what's the hubbub? Why are you screaming so much? Why'd you wake us up? Does any mortal in the unguarded hour of sleep oppress thee, or by fraud or power, or thieves insidious thy fair flock surprise? Thus they, the Cyclops from the den, replies. So they're like, did anyone get in? Are they stealing things? Are they hurting you? What's the deal? He says, friends, no man kills me. No man in the hour of sleep oppresses me with fraudful power. If no man, so he's saying, listen, there's this guy named No Man, and he's killing me. He's hurting me. He's oppressing me with, and he's lying to me. However, because there's a play on words here, it confuses the other Cyclops. Well, if no man, notice it's not no man, but it's no man hurt thee, but the hand divine inflict disease, it fits thee to resign, to Jove or to thy father Neptune pray. So they're like, well, if there's nothing, then what are you doing to yourself? The brethren cried and instantly strolled away. So they're like, listen, if there's nothing that we need to worry about, then what are you doing to yourself? Why don't you pray to Zeus or Neptune? So the other Cyclopses, they're basically saying, listen, if it's not a big deal, then don't wake us up. Joy touched my secret soul and conscious heart. So this is Odysseus talking. So he's so happy. Joy touched my secret soul and conscious heart. pleased with the effect of conduct and of art. So he's so happy that his plan worked out, that they were able to blind the Cyclops and trick the other Cyclopses into believing that nothing's happened. So this sentence right here, he's Odysseus is happy his plan worked out and they tricked the other Cyclops. Meanwhile, the Cyclops raging with his wound, so he's been blinded. It's probably hurting quite a lot. Spreads his wide arms and searches round and round. At last, the stone removing from the gate, with hands extended in the midst, he sate, and searched each passing ship and felt over, secure to seize us ere we reach the door. So he's trying to find them. So what he's going to do is he's going to open the door to his cave. He's going to let all the sheep out, so then he can search the cave better. And but he's checking each sheep to make sure that no one is trying to get out. So he's waiting at the door, trying to figure out, such as his shallow wit he deemed was mine. So he thinks the Cyclops can trick Odysseus. But secret I revolve the deep design. 'Twas for our lives my laboring bosom wrought. Each scheme I turned and sharpened every thought. This is basically Odysseus saying, I'm so smart. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. I'm gonna trick the Cyclops. This way and that I cast to save my friends, till one resolve my varying counsel ends. So he's about to reveal what his plan was. You're going to continue to read. They somehow get out of the cave and they get away unharmed. Well, sort of unharmed. A lot of Odysseus's men were eaten by the Cyclops, but Odysseus gets out all fine. Continue to read. If you have any questions specifically about words, about sentences, about any of the verses, please email me. Most important thing is just engaging and trying to understand the specific situation that is happening. That is going to be the walkthroughs. I do want you to walk through some of it together, but also work on it on your own to get a little bit of practice as you get into high school. So you're more accustomed to this language, which you guys will be reading. Have a great day.